Walked into the kitchen with a mission pretty clear. Wanted just a coffee, but now I'm standing here, looking all around me, scratching my head. Thought I had a purpose, but it's all lost instead. Was it in the fridge or pantry? I can't recall. Just a moment ago I was on a roll. Now I'm wandering like a tumbleweed in June. Guess I'll find out when I remember soon. It's that magical time when your brain hits the pause. You can do whatever you want, but you forget the cause. Walking through the rooms in a country haze, looking for a reason in a funky daze. Checking out the TV for the shows I love. Last thing I remember was grabbing a glove. Maybe light a candle or maybe a smoke. Now I'm just laughing, wondering why I woke. Was it the door or the porch where I planned to be? Or just a quick detour in my memory tree? Like a song with missing lines, I'm standing in a room. Wait, I'm just back again, looking for clues. It's that magical time when your brain hits the pause. You can do whatever you want, but you forget the cause. Walking through the rooms in a country haze, looking for a reason in a funky daze. Maybe it's just life playing tricks on me, a little comedy in my daily routine. But I'm alright with getting lost once in a while, smiling at the mystery with a country style. Time when your brain hits the pause. You can do whatever you want, but you forget the cause. Walking through the rooms in a country haze, looking for a reason in a funky day. So when you find yourself wandering without a clue, just tip your hat and laugh, that's what I do. In this crazy funny life, it's all good and true. Forget why you came in, but enjoy the view.
Hey guys, how's it going? I got Greg here with me. I'm gonna bring him right in right here soon. I just wanted to jump in here real quick and give a little bit of an update. This is funny. So I got my truck. Everybody knows I got a 2014 Chevy LTZ that it's been in the shop a lot. Actually, almost the last 2 years it's been in the shop. I had the original motor rebuilt, all new exhaust system, everything else. And a week after I got it out of the shop, it started having a low end knock on the motor, which was not a part of the motor we were working on. So I had my mechanic work with me, and he didn't charge me, which was awesome. And I bought a different motor for the truck, 2-year newer motor, same mileage. And I had the motor changed. But during that midsection there, I wanted to do some body work on it. And I shared a video of it. It's on my channel. You can see it. So I got this hair up my butt, and I decided I wanted to go look at another truck. So yesterday, I went up to Bridgeport, New York. My brother Dale was supposed to meet me at noon at the dealership, but he didn't show up till 1. But I went up there because I found a 2017 Nissan Titan XD standard cab long bed that had 47,000 miles on it, and it was a Cummins diesel turbo. And I just had to go check this truck out. But I waited about 45 minutes for my brother to show up, and he still wasn't there yet. And I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to take this thing down the road for a test drive real quick. So I drove it down to the local gas station. It was maybe 2 blocks down the road. And I turned around in the parking lot. And the first thing I noticed is no backup camera. I noticed first thing sitting in the parking lot in it, but it had no navigation systems or any of that, no sunroof, just room for 3 people, barely any cubby space behind the seat. And when I noticed it didn't have a backup camera, I was like, well, that's a game changer for me. I can't hook onto my camper. I do that by myself. I've got an enclosed utility trailer and I got my camper. And I rely heavily on that rear view camera to be able to look at it and say, okay, I'm backing up. Now I'm right where I need to be. Stop, get out, hook the camper up or hook the trailer up and drive away. Well, with this truck, I couldn't do that. So I took it right back to the dealership. I basically drove it 2 blocks down, 2 blocks back. And I went in and I talked to the guy. His name is Jonathan. He's a nice guy. And I told him, I says, Jonathan, I have to be honest with you. I says, I really thought I wanted to get a newer truck that had a lot less miles. And I wasn't afraid of a diesel. I've owned diesels before. And believe it or not, that diesel truck probably gets the same mileage I get with my brand new car. And so I was kind of impressed with the idea of getting the truck until I actually got out and looked at the truck. But I was just like, yeah, for $20,000, it was a nice truck. Don't get me wrong. But I told him, I said, dude, no offense, but I can't give up. My car's got all the amenities in it. It's a limited edition, so it's got the power sunroof, it's got navigation, it's got the backup cameras, it's got all of it. Same thing that my truck has. And driving that plain Jane truck, I was just like, nope, this is not going to work for me. I don't want it. So I handed him back the keys. I says, maybe better luck next time, but this one is definitely not going to be it. And he's like, yeah, no, I fully understand. And so I went back out and I sat in the parking lot for like the next 10 minutes waiting for my brother to finally pull in. And we went to the casino just down the road. I don't remember the name of it, Point Blank Casino or something like that, Point something. And we had lunch and we talked about it and stuff. And I told my brother, I said, this isn't the truck, but I can guarantee you this much. If I find another one in Syracuse, I'm going to do a better job of giving you the address. I'm going to not just give you the address. I'm going to tell you the name of the dealership, where the dealership's located and everything. So there's no confusion of where you're supposed to be at any given time. Because the next time I go test drive a truck, it may be one I want to buy. But for now, I've decided I'm going to keep the one that I've got. I'll probably spend a fair share of time in the spring going in, grinding out the rusty parts and cleaning it up. I did buy the panels for it to do that with. I do have the welder. I have all the paint and everything to do it with from Eastwood. So I'm ready to do it, but I'm just like, yep, do it, get it done, because I'm not ready to downgrade. I'm sorry, I'm spoiled. Hi, Short-Handed Homestead, how we doing? Melvin, Donnie, good to see you. All right, let's bring Greg on stage. And Troy maybe.
What is this?
We got
maybe. I don't know. I don't know if he did. He say he was coming in?
No, he said he's spending the night with his kids, but he's going to be on his phone, so maybe back and forth, checking it out or whatever.
Hey, Short-Handed.
Yeah. So, what do you think of this weather?
Dude, it sucks.
I got woke up this morning with a snowplow guy in my driveway. So I just jumped up, got dressed real quick, threw on a pair of boots, my jacket, pair of gloves, baseball cap, ran out, cleaned my car off, moved it out of the way, and then stopped and talked to him and paid him for doing the driveway. I was only out there for probably a total of maybe 6 minutes. I came back inside. My ears were burning. And I was like, that's not 8 degrees out there. It was supposed to be 8 degrees this morning. That was not 8 degrees. I went and looked at the computer on my back porch, in my back patio area. It was minus 8 degrees.
Yeah. I was going to say here.
We got 4.5 inches of snow overnight.
Oh, really? We got a dusting. That was it.
Yeah, well, then after I cleaned the car off, he moved it for him and stuff. I left it in the driveway running for like an hour to get the windows defrosted.
Yeah.
So I could see to back it back in to my parking space. And I went back out to get it. And of course, now I got a stocking cap on because I didn't want to deal with the frozen ears again. And I stayed inside long enough to get warm again before I went out to get cold to move the car again. And since I moved the car back into the driveway, till about 2 o'clock. It hadn't snowed at all, but the wind was really kicking up. And then about 2 o'clock, it started snowing again. And right now, there's over 2 inches of snow on the top of that car again.
Wow.
I'm like, man. So I got my new pellet stove put into my garage. It's not hooked up. I seen that 3-inch pipe, that comes off the back of the pellet stoves. And I was like, okay, well, it's a triple wall, so we'll call that a 4-inch hole. So I went to Lowe's. I bought a 4-inch hole saw, Lennox brand, because I really like the Lennox hole saws. And I was like, well, I don't have a Lennox brand arbor, so I bought the Lennox brand arbor, the quick connect for it. And I get back here, and I'm getting ready to start putting the hole saw together. I got my hole already marked in the wall for where it needs to go out for the new one and stuff, because I got to lower the pipe and bring it over some, because the new stove, the old stove was up higher and centered on the stove. This one's down lower and off-centered. So I marked the wall where the hole needed to be. And I was over there trying to put this hole saw together to find out that the arbor I bought, even though it's made by Lennox, doesn't fit the Lennox hole saw that I bought. The screw part of the arbor that the hole saw screws onto.
Yeah.
And then you have that spring clip that lets it pop the 2 pins out to lock it into place. The 2 pins don't fit into the holes of the hole saw, and that screw part, it would fall in and out of what was there. The actual hole saw I bought has a totally different setup on it. And I'm like, well, that was a waste of $50. I'm going to take them both back to Lowe's. So I decided I was just going to go in and pull the thimble off the wall, and get ready to do it that way. Of course, it's cold outside. The cold air is blowing down the chimney pipe and coming through that little 3-inch hole. So no matter where you were at, it was freezing. And I pulled the inside thimble out to find out that, no, I don't need a 4-inch hole. What I need is a 6-inch hole. So I've made my mind up. I actually, I was looking for things that were about 6 inches in diameter. I found this Folgers coffee can cover off one of the plastic coffee cans. And it's about 6 1/4 inches diameter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a drill bit through that coffee can cover, drill through the inside wall, draw around it with a marker, and then cut across the inside with my saw from the existing hole down to the edge of the new one and back up again. But I'm going to try to do it with a long drill bit, so when I drill, I can drill to the outside of the building, so I know where it's supposed to come out on the outside. So I go to the outside, when I pull the pipe and the outside part of it off, I can go out and I can finish cutting that oval out. And then I'm just going to cover the rest of it up with pieces of wood, because there's square pieces on the inside and outside of where the the thimble goes through the wall.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to be able to take another square piece and put it up against the wood that's on the outside and on the inside to just cover up the existing hole that's not going to be used anymore. And I'm going to call it good enough. I'm not even going to try to insulate it. It'll be behind the stove, so it's not like it's going to be an area where a lot of cold comes in anyway.
Right. Right.
But I'll tell you what a bear it was to get that thing off a pallet. I had no problem pulling the old one out of the garage and getting it all the way out into the center of my driveway, and it right there by my garage. But I want to get the new one off the pallet. You got it all unboxed, and I got all the extra parts and pieces off from it and stuff. What I didn't know was that where it sits on the pallet, they have blocks of wood underneath all 4 legs, so you can't just grab it and scoot it off the pallet. You got to tip it up and then scoot it so you can clear the back 2 legs from them blocks of wood. But then you got to catch it before it drops off the pallet all the way, and you're holding the whole weight of the stove doing it. It's like 280 pounds or something like that. So I waited till Leah got out of work, and I said, honey, I need you to do me a favor. And she says, what's that? I says, well, I'm gonna go over on this side, and I'm gonna pull back on the stove, and I'm gonna work on getting it sliding down off the pallet. But the minute it comes off that pallet, I need you to do me a favor. And she says, what? I says, pull that pallet out from underneath it, so then I can tip it back up and set it down. Pretty cool looking. So it took a lot more than what I thought it was gonna. And I bought one of the Harbor Freight moving dollies, the ones that got the carpet on the 2 sides and all that.
Yeah.
and it's just the right size to fit underneath the stove. And I had 2 pieces of 3/4 inch cabinet plywood in my garage that were wide enough for it to roll on. So I brought those 2 pieces out of my garage and brought them right over to the edge of that pallet. So after I got it off the pallet, I tipped it back, put that moving dolly under it, and we tried pushing it up the plywood to get it in the garage. Those moving dollies are great to roll on a flat floor, but on a piece of plywood that's sitting on snow, if it has a little bit of an angle, it doesn't stay on.
Nope.
It doesn't stay on. We fought. We fought. And we fought. I got it all the way over by the garage door. And I knew I wasn't going to get it through the garage door. So I told Leah, I says, all right, I'm going to lean that stove back into me one more time. And once I get it leaning in towards me, I need you to pull that moving dolly right completely out of it. And she's like, all right, what are we going to do? And I says, well, I'm going to be on the inside of the garage because I can't get out now. You're going to be on the outside of the garage. I'm going to lean it towards me. I want you to reach towards the bottom. Don't pick up on it, but just push it towards me. It should slide on that plywood to get it to the edge of the door, and then I'll worry about getting it in from there. I got my butt handed to me. That thing is so darn heavy. So darn heavy.
Yeah.
The old one's cast iron. I don't know what this one's made of. I think it's all solid steel, to be honest with you. But, man, I'll tell you what. I really had my butt handed to me. Right now, it's too close to the wall for me to get in there and do it with my jigsaw, so I got to pull it back out and then shove it back in again. But I'm not looking forward to it, and I'm not doing it in this cold weather.
Right.
I'm not working in the garage when it's this cold out anyway. I know I can't heat it, so it doesn't matter.
No, it's insane. I mean, it's going all the way down to Florida, this weather.
Yeah, and I hear it's supposed to last until Monday. Monday is supposed to start warming back up again.
Yeah, the bearded thrift machine, they're saying Monday it's supposed to be like, well, they said it's supposed to be in the 60s.
Really? Yeah, but they're down south further.
Yeah, well, they're in South Carolina.
Yeah, they're down south quite a bit further.
Yeah.
Well, you know, those guys out in Arkansas right now, they're all, we've been having nice weather. Dave and them guys are walking around in T-shirts today. Talking about everybody being sick with the cold, and he's out there walking around in T-shirts. And Levi was too, even though he's been dealing with the cold as well. He was out there with a T-shirt on. I was like, it must be nice. I don't know about Gary and Melanie because I haven't seen anything from them lately. You know, not since they got back from the cruise.
Yeah, they went with Anthony and Roxanne too, right?
Yeah, there was Anthony and Roxanne,
the sister,
Jason and Tara.
Oh, they all went.
Yeah. 3 Mississippi. Dave and Levi went. Actually, Jason and Tara stayed on for an extra week because they didn't want to deal with the snow. I can't say as though I blame them. If you don't have to come back to this stuff, why would you want to? You know?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is up here anymore.
Yeah. Actually, I think right now this is the coldest we've had all this year so far. And if this is all we get as far as the cold goes, I'm not going to complain about this winter.
I think it's going to get worse.
I think the snow is going to get worse, but I don't think the coldness is going to.
No.
But I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. We have had years where middle of January I was out working on building a vegetable stand in a T-shirt. You know.
Yeah.
I don't remember the year, but it was a while back.
Well, I remember probably back in like 08, 09, something like that. It was 70 degrees on Christmas Day.
Yeah. Yeah, the year that I had my son with me and we were out working on building a vegetable stand, it was probably around that time frame. We're both out there working in T-shirts. It was like, you couldn't ask for better weather. Although I do have to say this. I was out there and I used PVC for the top. I bought a bunch of extra PVC fittings and stuff from a specialty store for doing like greenhouses and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was out there and I was gluing all these pieces together as the sun was starting to set. And that glue literally was freezing on the pipes before it would dry. I had one pipe I squeezed together towards the end where it started dripping down off the pipe fitting. It was only about an inch long, and it crystallized and snapped off before I got both pipes put back together. And I was like, okay, I'm done. I am not doing it anymore. And to be honest with you, I don't know how many of them joints actually froze before they had a chance to set.
Yeah. Well, they tell you don't put that glue on until anything lower. I think it's 50 degrees.
Yeah, well, when I started, it was probably 65.
Oh.
The sun was going down, and it was dropping quick.
Yeah,
it was dropping quick, and I was like, okay, I only got these two fittings. I only got these last two fittings, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to use a screw on both of them. I'm not doing them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dusting in Kentucky really isn't bad. I could deal with the dusting. I mean, I guess you could call what we're getting now a dusting, only because the wind's been so heavy that it might have been a lot more than a dusting. But the only part that you see is what dusted on and stayed on, because everything else got blown off. Right.
Yep. You don't want a Nissan Titan.
I've had one. I loved it.
Really?
The only thing I had a 2011 Nissan Titan that I built to the hilt. The only thing I didn't like about it was I had to have the rear end rebuilt twice.
Right.
But the newer they are, the least that becomes a problem. It was back in 2011, 2012, where the rear ends were the real problem with them. And then it was about 13 or 14, somewhere around in there, they stopped using the rear end they were using and switched over to a different kind. I wasn't too sure I'd want a Cummins diesel. I mean, I wouldn't mind a Cummins diesel, but that one was a Cummins diesel turbo. I've heard a lot of issues with people with diesel turbos. I don't know if Cummins is. Yeah, well, I don't know if the Cummins turbo was the one that they were talking about, or if it was somebody else's diesel turbo. But it seems like the turbos are always going out on them.
Well, that's what Dodge used to put in theirs, was the Cummins.
Yep. Yeah, well, that's what was it Cummins that they put in?
Yeah.
I was thinking it was their own brand, and they just
no, it was Cummins, because they don't put them in anymore.
No, I know a lot of the old diesel turbos had issues with the turbo system, and the turbos would fail.
Yeah, that's what fails in big trucks too.
Oh yeah,
most of them is the turbos.
Well, that and they got that at diesel what do they call that? Diesel extortion fuel.
Diesel exhaust fuel.
Diesel extortion fuel. If you got, they're making new Chevy motors right now that are diesel that do not require DEF.
Well, they're the only ones that need to have it are the ones that spit the black out of it.
Yeah, well, apparently
commercial trucks.
Apparently, the Nissan Titan spit that because it had a DEF gauge on the inside of the truck to tell you whether it was good or not.
Yeah, then you would have had to have it in. You would have had to fill it.
Yeah, a friend of mine calls it his diesel extortion. His diesel extortion fee.
Yeah. Like I said the one night, all it is cow pee and pig pee, and that's it. That's all it is.
No, urea?
No. Yeah. It's a money grab. That's all it is. It really doesn't do nothing.
Well, it's the same thing with ethanol for the gas vehicles. That's all it is. Money grab.
Yep.
If you can buy non-ethanol fuel for your lawn equipment and stuff, which I always do, you never have to put any treatment into it. You can fill it up in the fall of the year, like my lawnmower. I fill it up. As the last time I mowed the lawn, I'll fill it up, and when I get done mowing the lawn, I'll just take it out back and I'll park it. I don't put anything like stable or anything like that. I can go out in spring, start it right back up, bring it up, fill it off, and go back to mowing the lawn. It doesn't hurt it a bit.
Right.
But if you were to put ethanol fuel into that, you'd have to take the carburetor off and clean it every year.
Yep.
Because
look at
it creates a burn.
Those two girls I watch in Canada, the band wives.
Band wives. Yeah, I just watched a short with them jumping in for the solar plunge.
Oh yeah, they're crazy.
Well, I was looking at it going, she doesn't have a top on. Oh well, she had like a bandana tied around her neck and just hanging down off the front. And I was like, yeah, she doesn't have a top on. I was like, okay, well, she did that just to make you want to watch it. Which worked.
Yeah. No, they don't care. They're
free spirit.
Yeah, I mean, their lifestyles, their lifestyle. I watch it, to see the stuff they do.
Right.
I mean, I could never do the polar bear plunge.
Oh no.
They're nuts, and it's colder in Nova Scotia than it is here.
Yep. I actually, back when I was younger, I had to go for an orthodontist and get a bunch of teeth pulled. And his name was Dr. Orzowski. And he said to me, he says, do you trust me to do this? And I looked right at him and I says, why wouldn't I? He says, well, a lot of people don't think that I'm capable of this. And I was like, Doc, if you can jump into a freezing lake with just a pair of shorts on, sit in there for 20 minutes, get out, dry off with a towel, walk back to your truck, drive home, then take a shower and put your clothes back on and come back into the office, I have no problem with worrying about you having shaking hands.
Yeah.
You're a man of steel, and I'm content with having you do the work.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I do the polar plunge. And I was like, how could I not know?
Yeah.
I mean, it was advertised in the paper every year. And he was always right there front and center and the picture of the paper talking about it and doing all this. He was like the #1 interviewer they did. I'm like, how could I not know about it? Yeah, I know you do the polar plunge.
Right.
Yeah, that's funny. I got it. Smoke blowing around all over here. If I keep it over here on my left hand, it just gets sucked down and into a fan, so you can't see it on camera. On my right hand, it's going, oh, it's up here. Now it's down here. No, it's coming up underneath.
I don't hide nothing.
I'm not worried about hiding it. I just don't want it in front of the camera.
Oh.
So what exciting things have you had going on? You got the electrical all done now, right?
No.
No?
I got to run 240.
Really?
Yeah, for a stove down there.
Okay.
Yeah. I got the wire ran. It's all ran from the stove to the box. We were thinking about just having an electrician do it that way if there's any issues. Because I don't like 240. I mean, I've been watching YouTube videos. It don't look too hard, but I don't like 240.
Call Mikey. Come on. He owes us a favor.
Huh?
Call Mikey. He owes us a favor. He knows where you live.
Yeah, come on, drive on up. No, and then I'm finding out this PEX A is garbage. The connectors.
PEX A being the ones with the brass with the rings?
No, PEX A being the ones you could expand.
Oh, I don't like those. I don't like those. I was watching Trent and Ellie do it out there in Utah in their house, and I was like, why? If you can expand it and you can put the pieces together, and then it's supposed to shrink back down, how do you know it shrunk back down to the right tightness?
Well, it does. I mean, it does shrink back down, but you have to be perfectly straight. You can't have any little extra on one piece or it's a mess. I got my I love the shark bites though.
Oh yeah, shark bites are awesome.
Yeah.
Does that work with Pex A too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. We're only running 1/2 inch though, but it's all right.
Well, if you ever decide that you want to go to Pex B, the one that uses the bands, let me know. The same tool I sent to Mike, I've got a whole bunch of bands. I got a whole bunch of fittings. Heck, I even got a whole bunch of pipe.
Yeah, I put a fitting on one of the shutoff valves, and the only thing I could think of is it was a PEX B fitting, but it fit in the PEX A, so I used one of the bands and tightened it down, and it worked great. But we had Home Depot and Lowe's deliver some fittings one time, and they were wrong.
I've seen a lot with like Trent and Ellie working with that stuff where they've had a lot of problems where they have to go in and like totally replace like the sink or shower heads and stuff, because once you band it on, those you can't remove the band.
Well, they sell a tool you can.
Yeah, but I don't know if I'd want to play with that. The metal ones, you can just go in with a grinder, just hit it real light with a grinder, it'll pop on its own. You take it off, you can pull the pipe off, you can put a new pipe on, you can do whatever you want.
Well, the shark bite, you don't have to.
Yeah, well, the shark bite. Yeah, well, the shark bite, they have a tool to remove. But
you don't even need that tool.
No.
You need a crescent wrench and make it tight up against, or not real tight, but
I just pinch it
right up against the pipe and push the outer little ring in and pull, and it'll come right off.
Yeah, well, they actually make that for airlines too, except for airlines.
Yeah.
Instead of being called shark bite, they're called Japanese fingers. It has like a little blue ring on the inside where the airline snaps up in.
Yeah.
And if you want to pull the airline back out, you have to grab that blue ring and pull it up inside the fitting, and then the airline will come right back out again. Yeah. I've done a lot of work with that. Our whole chemical plant over there in Cortland was everything that was run by pneumatics was run off the Japanese fingers. But one thing they do with the Japanese fingers that you can't do with shark bite or any of these other ones is they can make a fitting be able to spin all the way around without releasing the pressure.
Shark bite spin.
Yeah, it depends on what they are, though. I mean, if you're trying to take a shark bite threaded piece and put it into another piece, they say you're supposed to screw it into the other piece first and then put your PEX pipe into it.
Yeah.
Rather than put it on the PEX pipe and then use it that way because it wears the outside edge of the pipe off or something.
Yeah. Well, there's little metal teeth in there.
Yeah.
That grip onto the pipe and grab it. So who are you going with tomorrow?
What's that?
Who are you going with tomorrow for the Super Bowl?
Oh, I'll be honest with you. It'll never be the Patriots.
Oh, come on.
Nope. Every time the Patriots make it to the Super Bowl, they fold to the team that they're playing against. And I've been watching all the games, and I'm based on the last team plays that they got to get to the Super Bowl. We're talking one team having to make like 30 points, and the Patriots having to make 10. So, hey, Lauren and Joe, how we doing? So yeah, it's never the Patriots. My boss. My boss was from Massachusetts, so he was a big Patriots fan. And
I'm a Patriots fan, but I don't watch sports anymore.
I bet against him. Where's Blue Eyes? Blue Eyes is hanging out with his kids tonight. Yeah, Troy. He's hanging out with his kids tonight. I used to bet against my boss every year that the Patriots were playing in the Super Bowl and stuff, and I'd always take whatever team they were playing against because they'd always fold. And he's like, "Yeah, okay, I'm gonna win my money from you this year." Well, the last time he did it, I told him, I said, "I'm putting $200 down on this one." And he says, "So what's my thing?" And I says, if I lose, I give you $200. If you lose, you give me $200. And he's like, all right, I can do that. And his wife was so mad. I walked out. I walked out of work knowing I was going to win $200 that Sunday. And on Monday morning, before he even got to work, I had taken the highlights of the game. I copied it off of YouTube, put it into an emailed it to his wife with a note. Tell John I said thanks for the $200. I'll be by at lunchtime.
Yeah, Lauren,
I don't watch full games. I watch the highlights. I can watch every game ever played throughout the whole season in about 15 minutes per game. So for like every big day of games, I can spend 2 hours and watch all the games that were played that whole day.
Yeah. That's because it's all commercials.
Yeah, well, it's hard to keep track of what. Well, they don't give you all the highlights of what's going on. I mean, they call it the highlights, but they'll be in the middle of making a call, and then you don't see what the answer of the call was. It's just okay. Well, now they're moving on to the next stuff. But I don't care about that part.
The sports are fixed, whether anybody wants to know it or not. Sports are fixed. I mean,
they can be.
Like I said, I'm a Patriots fan, but when they all started to kneeling and stuff like that, I stopped watching. I mean, I used to be a diehard Yankee fan, and a Chicago Bulls fan and a Anaheim Mighty Ducks fan. So, I mean, I didn't like all in one state, but when you disrespect the flag, that's when I lost respect for you.
Yeah, you disrespect.
That's why
the flag. Disrespect the flag. Disrespect our national anthem, or bring out something that has nothing to do with football.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them now, they have "Choose Love" on the back of their helmet. I let that slide because I don't care what the back of their helmet says. You know what I'm saying? If I see the back of your helmet, it's probably because you're winning.
Or your face is buried in the ground.
Yeah, or there's 16 other people on top of you, but yeah, at least you made it far enough to get that much attention. I grew up in a family where boxing was the thing. My dad was a Golden Glove boxer when he was younger, and I grew up on boxing. We watched
we used to box at the Urban League
when
we were kids.
I used to box in high school when I was a kid.
Sports aren't sports anymore. It's all about the money. That's it.
It is. And there's too much of that. There's too much of that money going to the sports players that should be going to our service members.
Yeah, I mean, I do some baseball games. They do a lot of stuff for veterans.
Right.
But I mean, look at I just read tonight that an ex NFL linebacker murdered his girlfriend in Tennessee. They arrested him for it, for first-degree murder.
As they should.
I mean, come on. And it doesn't matter your race or anything like that.
Talking about, we are very busy, Lauren. We are super busy. Actually, our problem lately has been that the people that run our store for us, they keep changing things on us, but they don't tell us they're going to make the change. And it's like, it's one of them things where for us just recently, we had 190 orders. We couldn't even print the packing lists out to know what was supposed to be put in those 190 orders. And I reached out to the tech support people and I gave them a holy crap about it. And then they sent me an email and said, well, we changed the way you do this. So now what used to take 1 or 2 steps to do takes 12 or 13. But when you're 190 behind and now you got to do 12 or 13 for all those 190, those numbers add up and add up quick without getting any forewarning that we're going to have to do that. Hey, Bobby, how we doing, brother? And if you want to do a collab, Lauren, I am more than open to doing it. I really don't have a problem with that. I'm actually, I gotta look up through my paperwork here. I don't know what I did with it, but I'm supposed to be doing something with the library right now. If it's not too late, I know they said February, and I'm thinking it was probably going to be around February 12th. If that date hasn't passed, I got to get those seeds packaged up and sent to them.
No, you're good. It's only the 7th.
Yeah, but if it's anything before the 12th, I'm not good. Well, I have to make special labels for it.
Oh.
And that takes time for every variety. I decided for every variety, I'm just going to use my labels. And I'm going to put a label made special for them on the back of each package just to say, okay, this is in behalf of them, but they got them from us. So we get the advertisement value out of it. I mean, it makes no sense if we're not making any money on it, like for schools and stuff like that. We don't make a lot of money, but we do make some. And we will custom label for the school. And our name doesn't go on the packaging for those, per se. But in the same respect, people can look up the mailing address for us and say, oh, well, who's at P.O. Box 504, Cortland, New York? And they'll come up with, oh, that's Dollar Seed, So they'll know where to get them. So I don't know. No, we don't do covered seed trays at all. All we do is seed packages. But we do a lot of different seed kits.
Collection of the Beatles.
Actually, I did a collab with
On the Beatles records before? I've seen that one.
Making It Home, or our Mountain Home. I'm sorry, Our Mountain Home.
Lauren, we know you were a bookie at the Kentucky Derby. We heard all about it.
Yeah, and that's why she's so good at the casino today. Actually, that's funny because my brother and I actually, when we finally met at the dealership yesterday, after I got done test driving the truck because he wasn't there in time, we went to a casino to have lunch. And I'll be honest with you, it was really good food. But man, I'll tell you, if you want a drink, you better hang on to your pocketbook. If you get a beer where they serve the food, it was $5.50 for domestic beer. If you get a beer at the bar where we sat, it was $6 for that same beer. Oh, you worked with the breeders? Okay, we're talking to Joel now. We're not talking to Lauren anymore.
Do you know who owns that casino, right, David?
No, I don't.
Turning Stone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's another.
My brother told me we should have gone to Turning Stone. It's quite a ways down the road, but he told me we should have gone to Turning Stone because they have a really big buffet they put on every day for lunch.
Yeah.
I'd rather have done the buffet myself.
Hey, how's that? Did you get that fire or that wood stove? I'm talking to whoever. Is that Joel on Making It Home? You think?
I'm thinking it's got to be because he said he worked with the breeders. Oh, it is Lauren.
Did he get that wood stove to work? Well, we'll wait and see what the reply is.
Yeah. She's a moderator. She takes forever to reply to us.
Yeah, but when you take that wrench away, man.
Oh, man, I'll tell you, I can't hear the end of it.
I know.
Next time I'm just going to send her a screwdriver. Get her a little lightheaded. Maybe she won't be such an egg. No. You're missing a part, but it will be happening. Okay, what part are you missing? I can't imagine a whole lot of parts being on a wood stove. For me, it would be like a damper in the pipe, possibly.
Yeah, I think
a piece of the handle.
All that wasn't there. Remember, it was just the base.
No, you didn't pee in our Wheaties, Lauren. That's true. That's true. But I can still send you a screwdriver. At least if you're feeding our Wheaties, we'd still have the Wheaties.
Relatively small size and wide tracks, it is capable of handling some seriously steep terrain, up to 80% vertical. And
I think maybe this week, if it warms up enough, I may go out.
your industrial engine.
I've got it. This is weird. I've got two 20-pound propane tanks out in my garage, and I've been using one of them on my little. I got a Coleman heater out there. It's like a miniature torpedo propane, and I ran through all 20 pounds of the propane I had in the bottle. That's not a big deal. I just hook up the other bottle, so I unhooked it from the one. I hooked it up to the other. You know what I can't do? I can't open the valve on the top of the bottle.
It's froze.
I don't know how long that thing has been that way, but it is no. Oh, the ember arrestor thing. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how long that tank has been around. I don't even know where it came from. But I claimed it. I was like, yeah, it's a 20-pound tank and it's sitting on the property. It's got to be one of mine. I can't open it. I can't open it. And I was like, all right, well, that's not a big deal. I mean, I've got 4 40-pound brand new tanks sitting on my seed house porch that are full. I can wheel them out and use them. But the problem is that in order to do that, I really need to have like some kind of a heat blanket around them to keep them from freezing the tanks.
Yep.
Because that 20-pound tank, when it went empty, it was ice top to bottom.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I had to have it sitting in the front seat of the car with the heater on to thaw out the tank before I could take it down and get it refilled.
Yeah, because they won't touch it.
No, they won't. No.
Any sign of ice on it, they won't touch it.
Yeah, and well, not only that, but if I take it local, I can get any tank filled. It doesn't matter. But if I take it to like Country Max, which I was trying to tell Tim about.
Yeah.
If you go to Country Max, it's $14.99 for a 20-pound tank fill. And they are very particular on the tanks. They look at the actual date on the tank. If that date is out of service date or whatever, they will not touch that tank. Well, that means you got to take it to some place like a Blue Rhino exchange place. Right here locally in my town, Blue Rhinos are running $65 a tank right now. Yeah,
they're right now, even at the gas stations here, they're like $39 right now. In the summertime, they're only $21.
I wouldn't mind $39 because if you go buy a brand new empty propane tank that's a 20-pound, you're going to pay probably $30 or more on it for it empty.
Yeah. Hey, Van Wides is on.
The 65 I would not do. I can't do it. Bobby, I would restamp them, but the problem is, like I said, that one, it needs more than just a restamp. I could change the date on the tank all day long, but what I can't do is open that damn valve.
And the thing you got to be careful is up here, if there's any sign of rust on it, they won't refill them. Nope. Even if it's practically brand new, if there's any sign of rust on it, it has to be put out of service.
I've been known like with the ones for the campers, because the campers come with what they call a film coat on them. They're really, really super thin paint. Those things will start rusting when they're not even touching anything.
Oh yeah.
I've been known to take them off the camper before I take them down to refill them, and I spray them with an off-white paint. I forget the actual color, but it's an off-white paint, kind of like an eggshell. That's a high gloss paint, so they look like a brand new tank. And then I'll take it down and get it refilled, because if it's got surface rust on it, they won't do it. They won't do it. And also, if it's some of the ones with the Blue Rhino tanks, they have what's called a diamond magnet valve in them. The only way to refill them is to have that diamond
that's what I have.
magnet. I actually, for EMV Energy in Polkville, when they were doing it, they told me they couldn't refill the tank, and I was like, why not? They said, well, we don't have the magnet to open the valve. And I said, all right, I'll be back next week. And I reached out and I bought the magnet to be able to put on those tanks to open the valve. They filled my tanks for a whole year free because I gave them that magnet to open those valves. They stopped turning customers away. Now, at that time, they were only getting $8 a tank.
Yeah.
You know? But they have to turn out so many customers away because they just couldn't refill the tank because they didn't have the magnet. They didn't have what they called the key. I gave them the key. I said, here, You know, I think I paid $20 for the key. Well, they gave me like, I think it was over $200 worth of propane for giving them the key. I couldn't complain.
Yeah, well, no, because they're going to make their money off of it. A good business person like that knows what they're,
Yeah, they know the value.
Yeah.
But I stopped at EMV on my way home the other day because I went right by their Brookville location. I pulled in there like I knew what I was doing. There's no cars around or anything, and barely any traffic in and out of the driveway. I pull up to the building, and there's a big sign on the door. We have moved to Whitney Point with the phone number on the sign. I wrote the phone number down, and I was like, all right. So I came back home, and I called them. Whitney Point, I mean, Hookville to Whitney Point for me, I'm in the halfway point, so I don't care either way.
Right.
So I got home, and I called them, and I said, yeah, I'm just curious, You guys used to fill out my propane tanks. I'm wondering if you're still doing it. I'm just wondering if you're still doing it. And they said, no, we don't do home service tanks like that anymore. I was like, bummer. Well, I know locally, our local hardware store does propane tanks, and they charge like $30 to refill a tank. And I was like, all right, who else fills 20-pound propane? I came up with Country Max, and they were $14.99. I can't beat that with a stick. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Half price. I'm going to half price. I don't care.
Yeah.
And they'll fill anything up to a 100-pound tank. The one thing they told me is the tank can't be frozen. And the other thing they told me was if they can't open the valve, they can't fill the tank.
Right.
Well, if I can't open the valve, I can't empty the tank. So we're even. That one will be exchanged with a Blue Rhino someday, but not locally, because like I say, they're like $65 for Blue Rhino.
Well, Petty Gene, I can tell you I have seen a propane tank explode. You do not want to be near it.
Bobby, I've never seen a propane tank explode, but I will say this. Right after my son was born, we were living in this house. It was behind another house, so out in the backyard, I was barbecuing some turkey legs on the grill, and the grill was given to me by my boss, a restaurant owner. And I hooked the propane tank up to the grill. I fired it up. I put the turkey legs on. I said, "Well, it's going to be a while. I'll go mow the lawn real quick because it's not that big." I'm out there pushing the mower around, and all of a sudden, I see a flame shooting up the side of this thing. Coming off before the regulator. And I was like, what the hell? So I ran into the house, told everybody, get out of the house, get behind my van in the driveway, because my van was parked out front. And I went and grabbed the metal garbage can. I took the washer and the two washer hoses off the washer. I turned them both on, and I ran out into my yard, garbage can in one hand, two hoses in the other hand. And I just started hitting that whole valve with that. And the neighbor across the way seen me doing that. And of course, my old lady and kids are at the end of the driveway screaming. And the house right in front of us weren't home. Well, the people next door called the fire department. I still was out there with that garbage can lid in front of me, with my thumb over both of them hoses, spraying it on that valve. Just trying to cool it down, so if I could get close enough, I could actually grab it and shut it off. But I couldn't get that close to it because I couldn't guarantee I was cooling it down because I had hot water and cold water both blowing on it. I didn't want to get rid of the
that would have been a fight.
Well, I didn't want to get rid of the hoses to try to shut it off. I didn't want to let go of the garbage can cover to try to shut it off. So
Right.
I stood back there where I was going, okay, this was a dumb idea. Well, when the fire department showed up, the first thing they did is they came in and they hit the top of that tank with an axe.
Yep.
They pinched off the outlet part with an axe. And that tank, man, I'll tell you what, it went from being a cylinder to a ball so damn quick. I've never seen one burst either, but I'll tell you what, I don't want to watch that one ever happen again either.
Well, they have to release the pressure. That's what it is.
Yeah.
The pressure in that tank. That's why they tell you if they drop. Because look, back in the day, they didn't have that safety guard around it. Even oxygen acetylene tanks, there's no safety guard around them.
No.
So
no, all you get is a cap to cover the valve.
Yep. If they tip over and that top breaks off, that takes a missile.
Yeah. Yeah, I was always taught that the best way to handle an oxygen or acetylene tank in your car is always to have the valve facing you. Even if it gets broke off in travel, and it'll probably shoot you with the valve, it's better than getting hit with the whole tank.
Oh yeah, that tank will go right through you.
That little valve isn't going to have half as much pressure as that whole tank does after that valve is gone.
Right.
I know when I was working at Natrium, we used to have a policy when propane tanks were brought in brand new, they always had to be valve turned up and valve facing out in a cage.
Yeah.
And then when you took an empty one off the fork truck, they had to be taken off the fork truck and be put into the cage with valve down and facing back.
Yeah, in reverse. Yeah.
I don't know what the whole concept was, but I guess one thing was if anything ever happened with that cage and it broke a valve off a propane tank, it would go off the back of the cage rather than coming through the front.
Right, and it'll go through the wall or whatever was around it.
For us, it would have been out the overhead door and across the road. We kept them out on the loading dock just for that reason.
Okay.
Just for that reason.
There now.
I have no idea. Last time I went there was on the anniversary of my accident to talk to the boss, and I was just like,
yeah.
After being there for, I think we were there maybe 35 minutes or so. Well, we were probably there a little bit longer, but talking to Bob, the boss, for about 45 minutes or 35 minutes. I decided then that they changed so much there, I wouldn't want to go back. Even if I was looking for a new job, I wouldn't go there, even though I know how to do that job and I was really good at what I did. I wouldn't want to go back because the rules have changed so much and not to benefit the employees.
Dude, everything you're shipping and receiving is now on a computer on the loading dock.
And nobody knows how to use it.
Nope. Joe didn't even know.
The 45 minutes we were there, I'm gonna say it was a total of 45, 35 talking to Bob and then talking to Malcolm and talking to John. I'm gonna say all the time we were there was a truck back then that couldn't even get loaded yet because nobody knew how to put it on. They even went up to the upper office and brought Debbie down to show him something. Malcolm came over and he says, "Don't ask me. I don't know how to do that crap." I was like, "Well, dude, somebody has to learn it." And Debbie's going, "I don't know how to do it. I can teach him what parts of it I do know." And Joe, the warehouse foreman's like, "I don't know how to do it." I mean, this truck driver's been here all the time I've been here, and he was here before I got here. And he was still there when I left and still hadn't been loaded yet. I was like, "This is wrong." We used to have a goal. 20 minutes from the time you get back into the time you're driving out of the loading dock.
Yeah, it's not like that now.
9 times out of 10, we could hit that 20-minute mark. It's like, no, good Lord. They could be stacking pallets up in the warehouse and not put any on the truck for the first half hour just to get them closer.
When I was driving still, I had to go there. I told him, "You have 1 hour or I'm pulling out of this dock."
I don't know how they do it at the new warehouse unless they put another computer over there.
I don't know.
I've seen trucks at both of them at the same time going, boy, I don't know how that's going to work out.
Well, I think that's more of an overflow warehouse now.
Well, it was before.
There's nothing in there.
It was an overflow before, but we always had Pet Fuel Trucking there like every week, a couple days a week, moving stuff over because we had to get it out of the main warehouse at the plant, move it over to there, so we had room to keep production going. But they aren't even worried about production right now. The new owners don't care.
No.
To them, money is not an object. I was actually laughing when Bob and I were talking about this. We used to spend a lot of money on extra parts to have on stock. We actually had a tool room with all the extra parts in stock, and we knew what was in stock. And when it got used, it had to be wrote down so the next person in there could order it or whatever. And there was a pad on a clipboard right there by the door. When you go in and out, you write down what you're taking out so they can look and say, okay, we need to order more of these or whatever. These guys bought that place. They took that room right completely out. All the parts that were in that room were thrown in the dumpster. If you're not using it, we don't need it. I was like, okay, so apparently they're not worried about downtime because some of those parts you can't just order today and get shipped in tomorrow by Amazon. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Some of them had to be manufactured, and they didn't care. They emptied the whole thing out and they tore their room down. I was like, man, we're talking probably $500,000 worth of stuff got thrown away that day. I told Bob, I said, I wish I would have known you were going to be doing that. He says, why? I says, because I would have got my trailer over here and backed it up to the loading dock.
Yeah, and took the parts when they needed them. Hey,
if I don't need them, I can find somebody that does.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you had them when they needed it, you just charge them double.
I could just drive it back to them. Yeah, sell it back to them.
Yeah.
And believe me, it would be an increase in price.
Yeah.
I had to pick it up. I had to haul it away. I had to bring it back. I had to store it for X number of months or whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna have to increase that price quite a bit. But I can get it to you faster than the next guy. I can get it to you faster than the next guy because it's already available. And most of it would have fit on my trailer. If not on my trailer, in the loft of my garage, it's empty right now. Would have been a great storage place for a lot of it too.
Yeah.
You know, anything heavy stays on the trailer. Anything not heavy, put it in the upper loft. I don't use the upper loft as a garage at all. It's a small area. It's a one-car garage area, but it's a pretty good sized loft. When we bought the property, it was full of hardwood, and I joked around and said, anything these guys don't want to take with them, they can leave behind. And I was hoping they wouldn't empty that upper loft, but they did. That was the first thing I checked when we came into the house to do our final inspection. That was the first thing I did is I grabbed the ladder and I went up to that upper loft and I was like, son of a bitch, they took all the good hardwood. I wanted it. You know, I mean, it was high quality wood. It wasn't junk wood. Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, now I got high quality wood sitting in the middle of the driveway because I don't have any place to store it because it won't fit up there.
You make your cabinets yet?
No, I'm waiting to get my garage warm.
Oh.
I got to get the garage warm and finish getting the garage cleaned out. I got a pretty good dent on the garage, but I have to be able to get a heater out there that's actually reliable. And the propane one's reliable and all that, but I don't want to have to keep dragging tanks out there and stuff. And the problem with propane is it puts moisture into the air where the wood pellets take it out. So I really need to dehumidify the garage rather than humidify it because I don't want my table saw and all that stuff to get rust on them and whatnot. They're all brand new.
Right.
You know, I mean, my old one, I dealt with that when I first got it. It was a rust bucket, and I had to go through the trouble of cleaning the top, getting it all right down to like cast iron clean, shiny, and looking real pretty, and then waxing the crap out of it. And then anytime it got something on there that shouldn't have been on there, I'd have to go in and clean it again and then re-wax the top. But I made sure that was always good. Well, the new one's not cast iron. The new one's like cast aluminum. But even still, I mean, it won't get rust, but it'll get all the crap sticking to it if it's wet out there, and I don't want it wet. And it will ruin the blades.
Yeah.
That moisture on a saw blade is probably one of the worst things you can put on a saw blade.
Yep.
So I gotta get this new pellet stove hooked up and get that going, and then I'll deal with it from there. Yeah.
Good.
All right, well, Greg, we've been on for over an hour.
Yeah.
I'm willing to call this one if you are.
Yeah, I'm willing.
I don't really have anything.
See my brother in the hospital tomorrow.
What's that?
I said I got to go to the hospital see my brother tomorrow.
Oh, really? What happened to him?
Yeah, his left eye. He had double vision in his left eye, so he went to the walk-in, and they sent him to the ER.
Wow.
They did a CT and everything come back fine. Well, they admitted him. They did an MRI last night, I think, and he's got this 1 in a million people get this disease. It's a rare disease. And the doctor came in and told him this morning, you need to go play the lottery. You're the lucky person. He's like, what? And he says, what they call it, babe? Babe, what's that disease Dennis says? Ramsey Hunt syndrome.
Huh.
1 in a million people. The doctors here, they've never even had any cases of it. They had to go and research it to find out how to treat it.
Wow.
So he's going to probably they're pumping steroids into him now for his eyes. They're going to give him 3 more shots, and then he'll have it the rest of his life. He'll be on steroids the rest of his life because of it.
Wow.
So I was going to go today, but I got so busy downstairs. I'm going to go tomorrow morning.
Okay. And Bobby, having to get rid of an oxyacetylene shot? You call it welding, I call that plumbing. But I also call it like a cutoff tool. Instead of stuff like that, what I have, I mean, I'm not going to brag about it, but what I have is I have a plasma cutter, which oxyacetylene is used for cutting torches. I have a plasma cutter that just uses oxygen. It's much cleaner, and it leaves the parts where they're not hot when you're done and they're clean. There's not a lot of slag on them. But then I also have a MIG welder, a TIG welder, and I have a stick welder to do welding with. The stick welder, actually, if anybody wants to come to New York and get it, I'll give them a smoking deal on it. That thing is huge. It's about the size of maybe half of a refrigerator, laid down on the side, of course, on a rolling cart with all cables, extension cords for it, the whole 9 yards, made by Hobart. This thing came out of Smith Corona manufacturing facilities out of their maintenance department. It's old and it's sturdy. That thing will weld anything. I mean, if you come get it, you bring a couple good boys in the trailer to roll it up onto, I'll give you a smoking deal. One you can't refuse. Cheaper than what you could go to like Harbor Freight and buy a brand new welder for. Let's put it that way.
I don't know. I saw one for $400 the other day.
I can guarantee I can bring it down to about a quarter of that price. Good. I don't have any money invested into it, really. I mean, when I purchased it, they gave me the rolling cart that it sits on in exchange for about 20 packages of garden seeds.
Oh, there you go.
He didn't want to part with the cart, and his wife says, "Wait a minute, this guy sells garden seeds, you asshole." And he's like, "What?" And she says, "He sells garden seeds. I want garden seeds." I was like, "Well, tell me what garden seeds you want." And she gave me like a list of like 20 of them. And I was like, "All right, I'll be back tomorrow with your garden seeds." So they left the welder on the rolling cart, and they rolled it up onto my trailer and strapped it down. And then when we got it back to my shop, I put the engine lift onto it, lifted the welder up off the cart, and then I welded a new handle onto the end of it because the handle of the head wasn't welded really well. And the one I made was out of a lot of bed frame and stuff, so it was a real sturdy handle. And then lowered it back down on, and then I welded pieces onto it. So when you're pushing it, if you have to actually push the welder and not the cart, the welder can't move off the cart. Because that was one of the issues when they were putting it on my trailer to bring it back home, was it kept trying to slide off the cart because there was nothing there to hold it.
Right.
They were pushing on the welder and they weren't pulling on the cart.
Now those are 220, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a 220, 240 volt single phase. It goes up to, I don't know how many amp. It's a lot. It's a lot. And like I say, this thing will weld anything, and it's got really long leads for both the lead and the ground. It's got a long ass cord on it. Plus, I've got an extension cord that I made for it to make it even longer, so you can go a long ways out of a building with it if you wanted to or whatever.
Right.
I'll let that thing go for like $100. Right now, it's just sitting at my friend's garage because where my wood shop used to be, but they aren't never going to use it.
Right.
I'm never going to bring it back here to use because I've got all these other new ones now. Why do I need it? You know?
And that's a TIG welder?
No, that's a stick welder.
A stick welder. Okay. I know somebody who's looking for one, but I'll let them know.
I got a brand new TIG welder sitting out in my garage. I think I've used it twice now, and I want to pull it out and use it more. But
Yeah.
when I first bought it, I wired it for the same 220-volt plug that was up wired for, and I should not have. I should have left it at the 110 to learn how to use it first, and then jumped it up to the 220 because it's a lot harder to learn on 220. But that's okay. Yeah, I can lay dimes with a stick welder. I can lay dimes with a wire welder. I can lay dimes with a TIG welder or a MIG welder. The TIG welder, not so much. The TIG welder is the one I need to practice with.
My father-in-law is a welder.
I keep dipping the titanium onto the metal and it dirties it up, and then you have to stop and clean it. That's an issue for me because I'm allergic to titanium. But I do have a special grinder for getting in there and grinding titanium. It's a diamond grinder, so I can do it. But I got to spend more time with it. And like I say, I've only used it probably twice since I bought it brand new.
All right, gentlemen and ladies, she's gone. Lauren had to go to do work.
She had to get some work done. All right, well, everybody, have a good night, and we'll see what's going on next week. I'm not sure we'll be on next week.
Yeah.
Depends if anything new happens and whatever, and what our local weather is doing, I guess we can talk about, but we'll see what happens. But for now, I'm going to say let's call this one tonight, get the heck out of here, and go find something else to do.
Later.
All right. Later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.